point of national security.
Greenland looks empty, but it's one of the most strategically valuable places on Earth. Here's why. It sits between North America and Europe. It controls access to the Arctic Ocean. It's packed with rare earth minerals. And as the ice melts, new shipping routes open. Right now, whoever dominates the Arctic controls future trade, military movement, and resources. That's why Russia is militarizing the Arctic, and China calls itself a near-Arctic state. The U.S. doesn't want to be left out.
Now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay?
Trump isn't thinking emotionally, he's thinking transactionally. From his perspective, Greenland is a massive military asset, a shield against Russian missiles, a base for Arctic surveillance, and a long-term economic investment. The U.S. already has a military base there, Thule Air Base, which tracks missiles and satellites. Trump's logic was simple. We defend it anyway. Why not own it? To him, it wasn't imperialism. It was a real estate deal on a global scale. Here's where reality hits. Greenland is not for sale, not independent, and not owned by the U.S. It belongs to the Kingdom of Denmark, but it governs itself internally.
I believe that the American president should be taken seriously when he says that he wants Greenland. But I also want to make it clear that if the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops. That is including our NATO and thus the security that has been provided since the end of the Second World War.
When Trump suggested buying it, Denmark's prime minister called the idea absurd. Greenland's leaders were even clearer. We are not for sale. Trying to take Greenland by force would mean violating international law, triggering NATO chaos, and possibly collapsing U.S.-European relations. In short, it would be a diplomatic disaster. Trump somehow pushed harder, economically or politically. Here's what would happen. One NATO would fracture Denmark as a NATO ally. Any coercion would split the alliance. Two, Russia and China would react immediately. Russia would boost Arctic forces. China would accelerate influence campaigns. Three, Greenlanders would resist. Greenland's population is small, but politically aware. Any forced control would face mass opposition. Four, the U.S. would lose moral credibility. America criticizing land grabs while attempting one? That narrative collapses fast. The truth is, the U.S. doesn't need to own Greenland. The smarter strategy, and the one already happening, is military cooperation, economic investment, political influence, an Arctic presence without ownership. Trump's proposal wasn't realistic, but it exposed how valuable Greenland really is. Since then, Arctic competition has only intensified. So what happens if Trump takes Greenland? Short answer, he can't. But the longer answer is more important. Greenland isn't about ice. It's about power, the future of trade, and global dominance. And in the 21st century, the next Cold War might be fought in the coldest place on Earth. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video, subscribe, and comment. Do you think the Arctic will be the next global flashpoint? I'll see you in the next one.